Welcome, everybody, to the CG Real Estate Podcast. As always, we are here to add value to our community. And guys, we've got a very special guest with us today. I know within real estate, we've talked about acquisitions, we've talked about the state of the market and all these different things, but now we're getting ready to talk about the title side. And for that, I wanted to bring in the national title expert, Walter Devenne. How's it going, buddy?
Amazing.
Dude, thank you so much. I know how busy you are. You were just telling me the stats of what you guys closed last month.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, impressive, man. And especially in this market that we're in. So we definitely appreciate you coming on and adding value to our community about what it really means to be the behind the scenes on the title side and those kind of things about having confidence in your closing team. Title is very important.
Right.
Because it protects us as investors and it protects the consumer as buyers moving forward after we've come in and done our thing and then we're passing it along, that there are no anything that's not going to convey that shouldn't convey with this property, like liens, divorce, and all that stuff. So we'll get into that.
Sure.
But first, we want to get to know who Walter is. So how did you get started in this journey, brother? How did you get started in title?
Well, I grew up in Medford, Mass, right outside of Boston. Had some very humble beginnings. Grew up there and just had an amazing upbringing. My mother was a single mom. She raised my brother and I by herself. And she's pretty much my hero. She worked.
To all the moms out there who do it on their own.
I know.
Happy Mother's Day coming up as well.
No doubt. She works, multiple jobs, put herself through college at night school, all by herself, graduated from Northeastern University. So at an early age, I was able to see, what hard work meant and, what it took to actually make it happen. So for me, grew up in New England, had an incredible time. Actually played competitive basketball, played college ball. That's what really brought me to Florida. I actually, visited a school in Winter Park, Rollins College.
Okay.
And it was an amazing school. Fell in love with it first day. And I had a great run at the school. I joined a fraternity, played basketball, just kind of very active.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
You dove in.
Dove in. And it's funny, just to kind of fall back on like my experiences. I actually did an internship with a sales company. It was Vector Marketing. They sold Cutco cutlery,
okay.
literally door to door. College students, they recruited to do it, and I tried it because it gave some CE credits just to see how I did. And there was probably 4,000 or 5,000 students nationwide that did it. Mm-hmm. I finished in the top 10 for sales for the year, and got all kinds of awards. Won a scholarship. It was just a really humbling experience, and I didn't really understand I would be that good at sales. Mm-hmm. I got a political science degree, graduated with a degree there, and business administration for my bachelor, but really fell in love with sales. Soon after that, I got into real estate, worked for the biggest developer in the state of Florida, David Siegel. Okay. Worked at his timeshare resorts, excelled there for 5 years, got a lot of training, made a lot of money, and just enjoyed myself. But I realized, 11 years in Orlando. I had a great time there, great place to live. I just really wanted to live in a different part of Florida that was maybe closer to the water. So that's what brought me to Tampa Bay. And that's really where my title journey.
Get close to the beach.
That's right. I moved to Clearwater too, so I got as close as I could.
Right there.
But that's really where my title journey started. I actually got into title in 2000. And didn't really have any experience in it, but had experience with real estate and kind of fell in love with it. And as you were back in the industry back then, in the 2000s, the market was on fire and it was just a great industry to be in.
Especially those early 2000s.
Yeah. So, it just...
04, 05,
yeah. Yep. So it was just, like I said, that's what really got me into title. And it's really been an amazing journey for 25 years in the business. I met my wife in the business. A lot of friends, met you, a lot of just great relationships I've fostered over the years in this business. So it's just been, it's kind of like the mafia. Once you're in, you can't get out. So
we've known each other for about 15 years. I remember back, in 2010 and 11 when we started doing deals together in the company you were with then.
Yeah.
You guys, I remember the cool parties you guys would throw.
That was fun too. Lots of cool parties. They still happen.
But I really got to see a different side of kind of what you do to bring people together.
Sure.
And I think that's one of the things that I've always saw it for you as like just the specialist that you are.
Right.
Not only good at sales and bringing the business in, but also adding value to your clients, man.
Right.
Because I know when I reach out, Walter, hey, do you know anything? You know anybody in this? Yeah, don't worry about it. I got you. It's like,
Yep.
you know everybody, right?
Yep.
So in my eyes, that's an additional value that you bring.
Right.
Not only, yes, we can service your title, we can do the things that are needed to close your deal.
Sure.
But you go above and beyond. So that's what I've always noticed about you. And as I've gotten to know you even better over the years, it's like that constant, man. That's something you've always done. So as you were learning title and getting into it, what was that pivotal moment in your life that you were like, you know what, this is what I want to stay in. I don't want to go anywhere else. I'm going to double down and keep pushing forward.
I would say the housing bubble.
Okay.
It was the moment where, the market, for a good 7 years was amazing. And then once 2007 and 2008 hit, it was the crash of the century. And for me, just going through the highest of highs and experiencing the lowest of lows where, everyone in our industry was losing everything. I mean, I lost my house.
Lost it all too.
I mean, it's just everyone in the business just lost it. And it was just, it made me realize that, you know what? If I'm going to stay in this business and be successful, I can't just be one dimensional. I can't just be focusing on one aspect of the business, which at the time was refinances. I mean, refinances were everywhere. It was so easy to close and there was tons of them. Everyone closed them. So most title companies followed suit. I mean, at one point, I think the title company I was at during the refi boom, I think 1 month we did 1,000 refis, all Florida for the month.
Wow.
And it was all just Florida business. So, I mean, it just kind of goes to show we thought, wow, this is normal. This is going to happen for the next 20 years. And
it's never going to end. It's never going to end, right? That's what we all thought.
Yeah. And then once that bubble hit, that's when I realized, you know what, this is the business I want to be in. I'm not one of those people that, goes into a business and then when things are tough, jump out and then do something else. And then when it gets back, when it's a hot market, jump back in. A lot of people do that. Yeah. And I noticed that whether it's title, lending, realtors. But for me, I just, doubled down and said, I'm going to make it work. Tough market, good market, whatever. And that's kind of really where I'm at today, even. Like I the company I'm with, Close Title, they do everything. I mean, I'm able to tell clients we can do commercial closings in 32 states. I can tell them we can do REO, we can do foreclosure, we can do refinances, we can do, retail purchases, we can do wholesale, creative, investor.
Creative financing, I think, is what's big right now, especially in the market that we're heading into.
Yeah.
So that's awesome. So you kind of, this company you're with now covers all of that.
All of it. And that's really what kind of separates us from everyone else. We even partner with title companies that aren't in other states or don't do all the deals we can do just because we want to help clients. If the clients need help, I mean, there's times that we refer clients out to someone in Idaho or New Mexico or a state that we're not in. I mean, we just want to always be a resource. We want to give value, whether we're monetizing it or not. We just want to help, and at the end of the day, it always seems to come back. So that's why we're always kind of like, what can we do to help? What questions we need? This needs to go to an attorney, those kind of things. Like we really kind of try to cater to the client before thinking dollar signs and let's close a deal.
Yeah. So, and is that what drew you to this company?
Yes. One of the owners is an attorney. The other one owned a wholesale company. So they really understand a lot about different aspects of the business, and they are owner operators too, which makes it nice. They're involved in the business every day, and that's speaks to who they are.
Absolutely. Can you tell our audience a little bit about, if somebody is a new investor, what is so important about title? Why do you need title to step in, or a title company to step in to kind of mitigate and handle the transaction?
Well, first off, it's important to see what's on title. It's important to see if the title is, the right seller. I mean, we run into situations where, they'll bring us a deal and it's not even the right seller. Or it's someone posing to be that, someone else. It doesn't happen all the time, but that's why we check our due diligence. We have to make sure we understand stuff up front. And then once the title search is done, we're able to kind of dive in and see what's on there that needs to be cleared. And in order for the deal to clear, we need to have all that information up front. We know exactly what we need to do, payoffs that need to be ordered, liens that need to be, cleaned up. So at the end of the day, we're a necessary, part of the transaction that really brings it home. And a lot of people, that are new to, the wholesale or investor community, they sometimes might not think, our involvement is important. It's the most important.
Yes.
And the other thing too is we can actually vet the people involved in the transaction. And it's always good if an investor brings a TC, like a transaction coordinator, into the deal, because they really help assist a lot as well. Yeah. They gather all the paperwork. They make sure all the parties are good on their end.
So nobody's chasing anybody.
Exactly. Yeah. So the more people you have involved helping to get to that common goal, it's important. So we actually advise a lot on title, on deals that we receive from investors and wholesalers, just because sometimes they don't know, and sometimes they're seasoned and they know everything, and they'll basically, then they can lay it out for our closing team and let them know everything they want to do, the good, the bad, the ugly. Right. That way they know, okay, this seller's a little difficult. Can you call them to, warm up to them? And we'll do that. I mean, we get those requests all the time, and it just really makes it nice. And it could be the situation where the investor, they want to know that, the seller wants to know the investor is legit, and that we can vet them. And we do that as well. So there's a lot of scenarios where we have to step in and massage the deal before we actually get to the nitty gritty of it.
Yeah, but you become, so that's the thing that I even teach it in the community and to some of the students is these outside resources like title become part of your external team.
Right.
You need them.
Right.
But you want to select the right one, because you want somebody that could step in to help you when the deal might get sticky, or somebody needs an extension, or something happened, or some document where that agent, that title agent, is willing to go above and beyond and say, hey, don't worry about it. Let me call. Let me be that mediator for you.
Right.
To ultimately, we're all on the same team here, and we want the transaction to close.
Right.
One of the biggest things that I've noticed with closed title as well is the proactiveness.
Right.
Hey, we're not going to wait to a day before closing to let you know we need a survey.
Right.
That can cause delays. That can cause deals to fall out.
Right.
Or doing a municipal lien search to check, hey, are there any open permits, violations, code enforcement?
Right.
Sometimes those things get held to the end, and then you're scrambling, trying to clear these things up when you're 2 days out. So I love the proactive approach, and that's what, makes us that much better at what we do as an investors, is to help build a good external team.
Right.
With utilizing services like yours that are paying attention to the details. They're adding value in going above and beyond. Right. So outside of, obviously the special things that you guys do to help a transaction close, what else do you think differentiates your business and you even personally being entitled than everybody else?
Just experience, understanding. Our team is super knowledgeable. They've been battle tested. I mean, we have a team within our company called the Creative Close Team. It's literally all of our creative investor wholesale friendly title closers that understand all the transactions, the assignments, the novations, the subject twos, the double close, the contract for deeds, all the deals that are, different and they're unique. But to have that experience and have that knowledge and know what to do during the process, it really puts our clients at ease. And that's the one thing we do immediately once we receive a new contract is we put them together with the closer. They have questions they want to get answered. I can handle a lot of questions that they have, but at the end of the day, I don't work in operations. I kind of help, assist and place the deals with the right team members. But that's one thing that's invaluable.
And they're outstanding. You've got a great team, and I know you had a lot of influence in creating that team as well.
Yeah.
Kudos, brother, because you've got some great people on your staff that are just out there grinding to add value to your client, just like you do. Sharing that same value, that same mission to add value, whether there's monetary aspect behind it or not. We're here to help.
Right.
And I think that's where it all starts, and that's where it'll continue to come back tenfold when we have that mentality.
Right.
When we're out there truly seeking to help others, right? So outside of the title, we kind of got already an idea of what your experience is and all of that. What else are you passionate about? What else does Walter like to do?
I would say, honestly, I love, keeping in shape, working out. That's one thing I enjoy a lot, like on my side time. And with all the stress that we absorb in this business,
you gotta find an outlet, right?
Yeah, you have to. I mean, there's times I'll go for a nice long walk and make 5 or 6 calls just because, I'm kind of doing 2 things at once, multitasking. So it's a benefit to both sides. But I also like boating. My wife and I, we live on a beautiful ski lake, and we take advantage of that because I mean, I grew up in the suburbs in a big city. Didn't have all this sun and water and beautiful weather.
You gotta take advantage of it, especially living here.
Yeah, I have a huge appreciation for the life we live, where we live. I mean, I wouldn't ask for a better place to live, than where we are, and spending time with family, like my family and friends, my wife, we do a lot of stuff together. We both are, in the trenches all day. And then by the end of the day, the best thing we do every day is, take the boat out for a quick spin, have a, watch the sunset from our dock and just, appreciate like, hey, we worked a hard day. We earned this. Let's go for a spin.
Yeah. No, I think that's so important that, we have those opportunities to show gratitude.
Yeah.
Just be grateful for what God has given us and
Yep.
the resources that we have and the things that we can accomplish because of the fact that, it's there for us and the
Right.
opportunity is there.
Yep.
That's what we love about this country, right? That
Yep.
if you come and you work hard and you dedicate yourself and you perfect and refine your craft, the success comes with it.
Yep.
But you got to help a lot of people along the way.
A lot.
Yeah.
And it's taxing.
It is, right? It is taxing, but at the end, when you can look back and reflect, I think it's so worth it.
Yep.
Right? All of that additional work that we didn't have to do.
Right.
And we get, there's rewards behind that as well. Not that we do it for that reason, but
Right.
there's a great satisfaction as well
Right.
that comes because we're out there really helping and adding
Right.
value to the community. So another thing that I know that you do that adds a lot of value are events.
Right.
Like I know you've got an event coming up, and for anybody out there can go onto our website. We'll post this, and if you're part of the community as well, which I encourage you to sign up for the community at www.cgrealestateacademy.com, then we'll post the events and any events that Walter or any of our other affiliates has coming up, because these are great opportunities to get out and meet people within the same area, create these lasting relationships. We met at an event.
Yes, we
and
did.
It was one of your events, and you're like, hey, from somebody else, I got invited, and I got to meet you, and then we started doing deals, and 15 years later, right?
Yep.
From an event. So
True.
Talk to us a little bit about your events, how you host the events, and what you like to do and what you like to see as value in your events.
Before COVID, as you know, I mean, I probably did multiple events every single month, and it was a lot of fun, but it was pretty draining, having, I mean, some of our events had as many as 250 people. So gives you an idea of like a lot of people, a lot of personalities. Mm-hmm. And then during COVID, it kind of went away for a few years. So it was kind of like, going dormant because a lot of people didn't really want to get out there. I mean, understandably so.
Yeah.
So, but now, since we have we have local offices and we're, back in the local markets, we are hosting a lot of events, but we also help promote other events, with clients. I mean, one of our broker partners that we work with, some of their agents, they did an event downtown last month, and I think they had probably about 80 people there, and we probably bought about 40. Just because at the end of the day, meeting people and connecting with other real estate professionals, whether they're doing retail, investor, creative, to us, it's all real estate, what I mean? And we do all sides of that, and we just enjoy it. I mean, we're going to be meeting up in a couple of days to another networking event downtown in St. Pete. Those events are great to, some of them I've never been to. I just, either got invited by someone else, or, if they make sense and they bring value, then I usually typically invite all of our clients to events like that. And most of them show, which is great,
Because there's a lot you're going to get out of it if you really look at it that way.
Yeah.
So.
And again, we try to mix it up every quarter, do a different event where, drinks, food, cigars, fun stuff to do. We'll even do separate events for cigar lovers, I mean, but at the end of the day, it's just staying out there, being relevant. I think because the market is so challenging right now, and it's so, a lot of people are almost giving up. The one thing you can't substitute is getting out there and hustling and meeting other people. I mean, the thing I love most about inviting people to events is that when someone comes to me a day or two later and says, I really appreciate you inviting me. I met this person that's now a big client of mine that's already sent me several deals, and I wouldn't have met them if it wasn't for the event you invited me to. And that really, again, we go back to helping people. Those things are, just incredible. There's nothing behind it where we make any money from doing that. But at the end of the day, that's a loyal client. That's a client that's always going to remember, you hooked me up with this person. You gave me access to this lender, Carlos. It just really, to me, there's no substitute. Even my wife, she went to an event last month. She was kicking and screaming, not wanting to go. She was tired.
And then after she left, she's like, hey, I'm so glad that I went.
She was so ecstatic, and she's now has a client that's been sending her all these applications and deals. And, again, it's because she showed up. You're relevant. You come to the events, be personable and, not afraid to talk to everyone, and you never know. It's a numbers game. And to me, that's all this business is the numbers,
As a new investor, it's so valuable because you get to go and meet people that you want to be on your team, your external team, title, lenders. Hey, I need properties. Well, wholesalers are there.
Right.
Oh, I need to sell a property. Realtors are there, right? So you can, contractors, you've got contractors that come to the, all different avenues in real estate kind of come together to see, hey, where can we help each other?
Right.
And I think that's what's really, really cool about the events that you do, and even the events that you sponsor, because I know you're not going to sponsor an event that you don't truly believe in as well.
Right.
But it's that opportunity to really come together and build relationships to help each other out, especially like you said in this market.
Sure. I
go to every event knowing, hey, I'm going to come away with 2 or 3 fantastic connections.
Yep.
Whether that happens in the first 10 minutes or I got to be there for 2 hours. If I haven't got it, but it's intentionality. I'm going there for that reason, to connect, to touch other people.
Right.
Maybe I can add value, right? Or maybe somebody can add value to me. And that's what it's all about. So we'll definitely post that information for your upcoming event. And what kind of event is it? Is for the title company?
Yeah, it's going to be a grand opening event. We just opened our office in Tampa a couple months ago, and we have a lot of clients that are working with us right now, but ones that I've worked with over the years that would like to know more about our company. So, and this is like all of Tampa Bay, so 3 counties.
Nice. So we're going to probably open it up. You're going to have quite a few people there.
Yeah, we should have the destination done by the end of the week, but it'll probably be sometime in later June, like June 18th, June 19th, around that time. But once we get the dates solidified, then our owners are flying in from Fort Lauderdale. It's going to be pretty cool.
That's great, man. Yeah. No, so we'll definitely, I know I'll be there.
Yeah.
And hopefully a lot of the members in our community will be there as well.
Sure.
And as we start wrapping up our podcast here, Walter, one of the things that I'll ask every guest, this is one of the final questions, and you can feel free to elaborate as extensive as you want or as minimal as you want. But what is your why? Why do you get up every day? And why do you grind as hard as you do? And how do you stay with that positive attitude that you always have?
I would say it's a twofold thing. It's like, there's a personal side of motivation and there's business. Personal, it's, our family, it's working, being the head of the household, 3 kids, 3 grandkids, my wife and I share. And, it's a lot. I mean,
they all come to Papa Walter.
yeah. Graduations, weddings, cars, trips. It's never ending. But at the end of the day, I really wouldn't have it any other way. I look at myself 20 years ago, and I was a pretty single, selfish guy that just had fun, lived life, didn't have any responsibilities, and once my family grew and we're here today, it's a blessing. It's great to be able to evolve and say, you know what, it's not all about me. It's about other people too. And, to have a good life for them and to give them the things that they need and want to be happy in life. It's everything, I mean, God's good, for me, awesome, it's like, I look back at, all the good highs and lows of my life, and, I couldn't be happier, so, but for business wise, I would honestly say it's our team. They motivate me because, we've gone through a lot together, just like, our creative clothes team, work together at 2 other companies. So we know each other extremely well, and we've been through a lot, good and bad. Yeah. And it's ironic because, one of the companies we work with, it didn't go so well. And, but we still persevered and still stuck together and went through the tough times together. So now that we're fast forward to, a better situation, a different situation, and we're excelling at a very fast pace, we all kind of look back and say, hey, this wouldn't have happened if we didn't go through the challenging time. So to me, it's all life experiences. Like, we went through, like I said, a very difficult time, and, found closed title, and it's been like nothing but, it's been incredible. And the best part is, we're all competitive and excelling, like every month we're like, we can do better next month, and we just, we're proud to say, in the month of April, we beat our best month by almost $40,000 in revenue as a team.
Wow.
And that's the best month we've had in 5 years. I mean, it's just amazing to say we're in a down market and we're doing this well.
You're thriving.
But and at the end of the day, again, every day we're all group texting, like, hey, we need to pick it up, or, hey, what do you need? And everyone's, like I said, we all work together, and I've got, a great team, but at the end of the day, we all together, we're in it together. I kind of handle the sales and marketing side. We've got our creative team's up to about 8 people now. It's run by Adrienne Prince, she's my work wife, and she is, we started in the business together at the same company, and there's nobody else in the business that I would rather be in the trenches with than her. No one knows as much as she does as far as the transactions, how they do. All the mentors out there go to her. All the big ones that are out there in the creative world, they go to her. So I mean, having that person in there that's kind of overseeing the deals, the clients, it makes my job easy. You know what I mean? I can sit there and smile and say, you know what? I work hard, but man, they make my job much easier because, a lot of our business is based on referrals and people hearing about us. And that's
it. You can go out and bring a lot of the business in, but if you can't retain it, then you've got
it's a waste of time.
Yep. Right. So now you've got an incredible team. And I think the common denominator that all of you share is putting the client first, adding value. And I think when talking to your staff, when talking to all the individuals on your team, it's that same, well, what can we do to help?
Right.
Not, what can you do for me? No, what can I do for you? And vice versa. Like you said, you're earning that loyalty in that client because you're going above and beyond and doing that.
Well, you hit it earlier. It's bringing value. What can we do to help them? Exactly. Having a conversation and finding out what they're trying to do out there. What states they're looking to work in. Giving them a little insight on those states, like, ooh, that state's a little tough for turn times. How is it in Minnesota? It's terrible. The search companies are backed up. So, it's not like Florida. It's not like these other states. But at the end of the day, it's, being able to kind of, help them, hold their hand, because again, it doesn't matter how many deals they've done. They don't know everything. And we honestly don't know everything, but we've got.
I learn stuff all the time. I've been in this business for 20 plus years, but it is wild. Things, and it just changes. Right?
We're still learning every day.
Things change, right? So, no, that's awesome, man. So, really proud of you.
Thank you.
A continued success is what we pray for you and your company. I know it will, because you're going to continue to be the same person that loves to add value. And, if for anybody out there that's searching for a good title company and that's looking to bring on an external team member that is going to strive and work as hard as you do, reach out to Walter. His information is going to be in the link below for closed title. We'll put his direct information on there. So whether you need help with title or finding something else, reach out to Walter. He will connect you, and he will do it with a smile on his face without any expectation. And he does that because he knows that he's here for a different purpose, as we all are. So, brother, thank you so much for taking time to sit here with me today, to talk to our community, and to add value with what you do.
Appreciate being here. Thank you so much.
Awesome, brother. So everybody out there, you can reach us at www.cgrealestatepodcast.com. We're on all the different channels. You can find this full video on YouTube, but we're on Spotify, Apple Music, and all the different channels. If you have any questions, you want any additional information, reach out. There's comment sections in there where you can address comments directly to me. And if you heard anything that Walter was saying that you wanted to know more about, definitely reach out. So next week, we've got another incredible guest. And Walter, any last thing you want to say?
Just keep your head up out there. It's a tough market, but take some things from whatever you can take away from my discussion. Don't give up.
In the hard times, right?
Yeah, this is the time that you need to buckle down and make yourself available. Do not hide under a rock. Get out there, knock on doors, shake hands, kiss babies, whatever you got to do, and you'll get some success. It's a numbers game like anything.
Awesome. Thank you, Walter.
You're
Appreciate
welcome.
it.
Thank
Till
you.
next episode.
Awesome.
Bye.
Thanks again.